All right, let's talk about something fascinating. What if I told you there's a financial strategy, one that the wealthy have apparently been using for a long time, that could help you build wealth completely tax-free? Today, we're going to break it all down, and you might be surprised to find out it's more accessible than you think. I mean, just think about your goals for a second. You want to save money, you want to grow it, and you want to protect your family, right? But what if you could do all three and pay zero tax on the growth? Yeah, it sounds almost too good to be true, but the strategy we're digging into today claims to do exactly that.
But hey, before we can talk about a solution, we really have to get clear on the problem. Why is building wealth so darn hard for most of us? It really feels like you're constantly swimming upstream against some pretty powerful currents that are working against your money.
Well, it really just comes down to three huge roadblocks that can chip away at everything you're trying to build. You've got taxes taking a bite out of your growth, the wild roller coaster of the stock market, and often just a total lack of any built-in protection for the people you care about most. Okay, let's tackle the first one. Taxes. We all know this one. You know how it works with a traditional 401k or IRA, right? You get a nice tax break today, but the catch is, when you actually want to use that money in retirement, every single dollar you pull out gets taxed. And who knows what tax rates are going to look like in 20 or 30 years? It's a huge question mark.
And then there's the big one, market volatility. Man, this one can be a heartbreaker. You can do everything right for decades, saving and investing, watching that balance go up, and then, boom, one bad year, one market crash can wipe out a huge chunk of it. That's years of progress just gone. And it's so hard to claw your way back from that.
And finally, we've got the protection piece, or, well, the lack of it. Your 401k is great for growing money. That's its job. But it's not a safety net. It just wasn't designed to provide for your family if something unexpected were to happen to you. So you've got these three massive hurdles: taxes, market risk, and no protection. How in the world do you solve all of them at once? Well, this is where a financial tool called an Indexed Universal Life Insurance Policy, or let's just call it an IUL, comes into the picture. Okay, so what on earth is an IUL? The easiest way to think about it is like a hybrid. On one hand, it's a life insurance policy. Simple enough. But it also has this cash savings component that's designed to grow over time. Now, that indexed part is the real magic ingredient. It means your growth is tied to a market index, like the S&P 500. But, and you gotta hear this, it has downside protection. You get a safety net, usually a 0% floor. So if the market tanks, you don't lose a dime. So when you put these things side by side, the difference is, well, it's pretty stunning. Your typical retirement account, you're going to pay taxes on the growth, you're taking on all the market risk, and there's no real protection built in. The IUL, on the other hand, is designed to be the exact opposite on all three of those points. All right, this all sounds pretty good, right? But how does it actually work under the hood? Let's peel back the layers and really get into the mechanics of how this thing is put together. Its real power comes from four key things all working together. First, that cash value grows tax-deferred, and you can access it later completely tax-free through policy loans. Second, and this is huge, you get that downside protection. The market can go crazy, but your principal is safe. Third, you can actually use your money whenever you want for whatever you want. No taxes, no penalties. And finally, if you pass away, the life insurance benefit goes straight to your family, skipping the whole costly and slow court process of probate. You know, theory is one thing, but what does this actually look like for a real person? Let's walk through a quick example to see how this could all play out over a lifetime. So let's imagine a 35-year-old professional who starts putting $500 a month into an IUL. For decades, that cash value just grows and grows, capturing the market's good years but skipping the bad ones. By the time they hit retirement age, they could be sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars that they can use to live on tax-free. And the whole time, their family was protected by that life insurance. It's pretty incredible when you see it laid out like that.
And this isn't just a strategy for one type of person. For high-income folks, it's a great way to shield your wealth from future tax hikes. For families, it's an amazing tool to make sure wealth gets transferred smoothly. And hey, even for young adults just starting their careers, a small policy now can give you a massive financial head start decades down the road.
So as we start to wrap this up, it's really important to remember the two sides of this coin. Yeah, we've talked a lot about it being a way to grow your money, but it's also fundamentally about protection, protecting that money from losses and protecting your family's future.
Now, we have to put a big asterisk here. This is super important. An IUL is not like a simple savings account. It's a complex financial tool, and its success hinges completely on it being set up the right way for the right person. A poorly designed policy can have high costs that just eat away at your returns. It is absolutely not a one-size-fits-all solution.
And that really leaves us with one final thought, a question for you to think about. Look at your own financial strategy. Is it built just for offense, for growth, growth, growth? Or does it also have a strong defense built in? A defense to protect you from taxes, from market crashes, and from all the unexpected things life can throw at you. It's a crucial question for anyone who's serious about building wealth that actually lasts.